If last year's Halloween budget felt brutal, the autumn budget just released yesterday was an uppercut to the financial future of millions of hardworking professionals across the UK. And look, I don't say that lightly because yesterday's budget, it confirmed changes that hit a lot of people. NHS doctors and healthcare professionals, high-earning professionals, locums, limited company directors, small business owners, and even landlords, like small landlords, savers, and anyone relying on salary sacrifice, cash ISAs, or dividends. And for many people, these changes arrive quietly, but they cut quite deeply. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Andy Egwim. I'm the founder of MoneyWiseDoctor.com. I'm a former salaried NHS GP, and I've been an investor for 21 plus years. MoneyWise Doctor has helped over 6,000 doctors and healthcare professionals make smarter financial decisions and avoid costly mistakes. Over the last 24 hours, I've gone line by line through yesterday's budget, and I've been updating multiple sections of my new book, The MoneyWise Doctor, so that the first print actually reflects the new rules. Today, I'm breaking down what has changed in this new budget, what it means for doctors, NHS staff, and business owners, as well as what you should consider doing next before these changes strap you financially. And you can head over to MoneyWiseDoctor.com to read the full blog. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not your accountant. This video is for education and general information only. Everyone's situation is different, so if you need to, get professional guidance if you need personalized guidance. All right, let's dive in. So number one, the biggest hit is salary sacrifice cap. So let's start with a change very few people expected, but one that will affect high-earning doctors, GP partners, locums, and anyone that is paid through a limited company the most. So these are the changes. For years, salary sacrifice has been one of the most powerful tools to, escape the 60% tax trap. You can use it to reduce your adjusted net income. You could lower your marginal tax. You could boost your private or workplace pension efficiently by paying more into salary sacrifice. But a lot of that has changed. From April 2029, that advantage gets capped. The new rule is now that only the first £2,000 that you put into your salary sacrifice will receive national insurance relief. Anything after that, you have to pay national insurance. So you pay national insurance, your employer has to also pay national insurance. And for many employers, they might want to reduce contributions to salary sacrifice as a result. Let me be clear. This does not affect the normal NHS pension. So NHS pension contributions, they're not basically salary sacrifice. So they remain completely unchanged. Okay, good news there. Now, but this change will affect like locums using limited companies, consultants receiving private employer contributions, GP partners using non-NHS pension arrangements. In fact, anyone using private workplace salary sacrifice schemes need to check this as well. It could be that, for instance, if you're a private consultant, you're earning over 120,000 and you're sacrificing some of it into a private pension in order to reduce your tax burden now and also help you avoid that 60% tax trap. Now you have to pay NI in addition to that. So this is huge because it directly targets the strategy many high-earning medics use to manage the 60% tax trap. If you relied on this, you need to adjust. And yes, Chapter 5 of the MoneyWise Doctor has been fully updated to reflect this change. Now, tax efficiency is one skill every medic needs, but no one teaches. So we keep falling into multiple tax traps. It feels so unfair. I've read over 250 books on personal finance and business. Not one of them explains specific issues that affect medics like NHS pensions, financial anxiety, investing, student loans, and much more. Hi, I'm Dr. Andy Egwim. I'm the founder of MoneyWiseDoctor.com. For over 21 years, I've been investing and studying personal finance. In fact, 3 years ago, I left my salaried NHS GP job after achieving financial independence. Since then, over 1,200 medics have joined our tax-efficient investing masterclasses that are totally free. And much more than that, 10,000 doctors and healthcare professionals have used my content to make smarter financial decisions and avoid costly mistakes. That's why I wrote the MoneyWise Doctor. The MoneyWise Doctor is a step-by-step guide, it's a book to simplify the path from confusion to clarity for medics and to help you make smarter financial decisions and avoid costly mistakes that can affect your future. We've already helped thousands of doctors learn how to save smarter, invest tax efficiently, and finally feel in control, in charge of their financial future. Now, if you're ready to gain clarity, confidence, and control with your money, tap below to join the waitlist for the MoneyWise Doctor book so you can get all the fabulous benefits and the bonuses for the first readers. Let's move on to the second thing, the stealth tax, fiscal drag. So what's going to happen now? This is a big heavyweight punch. The freeze of the income threshold until 2031 is the biggest tax rise of the entire budget. Even though the tax rates haven't changed, but this is a stealth one. Nothing changed about the basic rate threshold is still the same. The higher rate threshold is still 40%, and the personal allowance is still there. The £100,000 adjusted net income trigger is still there, and then the 60% tax trap hasn't moved. But those bands were already frozen until 2028. Since 2010 to 2028, now it's been frozen 3 extra years. And why this matters for doctors is because, on healthcare professional, of course, your pay rises, your pension increases, you do extra shift on calls, locums, you're quietly being dragged into a higher tax band as you're earning a bit more, without the government ever saying we are raising taxes. This is why it's a stealth tax. It's been there from 2010 till now, 2020, so it's going to 2031. That will be 21 years. So the OBR has already said that at least 1 million people are going to be paying taxes because of this, and about 920,000 people will be dragged into the higher rate tax band. In simple English, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, will be very happy with the tax revenue, but these 1 million people won't be laughing to the banks like her. So earning more but keeping less is now guaranteed unless you plan ahead. That's why chapter 5, we call it Clamp the Tax Bleed. I rewrote it yesterday. You can't drift into a new tax year anymore. You need structure. Now let's look at the third thing, dividend, property and savings tax rises. So this one hits if you've got a limited company that you're looking with, if you're a private clinic owner, you're a consultant with side businesses, you're a landlord, or you're an investor holding assets outside tax wrappers like ISAs. There are a few changes from April 2026. The dividend tax rate will rise by 2%. So basic rate taxpayers will be paying 10.75%. And of course, higher rate taxpayers will be paying more as well. From April 2027, the taxes also rise for property income. If you're a basic rate taxpayer landlord, you're now going to pay 22% instead of 20%. All right, so a lot of these changes are actually seem to target like hardworking day-to-day people. Now, you need to be more disciplined about your tax situation. You need to think about your tax in any investment or whatever you hold. So chapter 6 of my book on investing has actually strengthened the rule around tax wrapper first, investing second. Now, the fourth thing, the cash ISA allowance, we're all expecting it. It was cut from £20,000 to £12,000. So the rumors were true. From April 2027, the cash ISA limit will drop to £12,000. Your overall ISA still stays at 20k allowance. So you can still put £20,000 in your stock and shares ISA, but you can't really do that with your savings ISA as well, except you're above 65. So this is the government's attempt to push more people towards investing. Will it work? I don't know. This country, more people prefer to save. That's why there's billions in the cash ISA. We'll see if it works, but I think it's better to educate people rather than trying to push them. More people might end up saving in a way that will cause them more tax and yield more income for the government. Well, what this means for doctors and healthcare professionals basically is that if you've been relying heavily on cash ISA for your emergency funds, you're saving for school fees, you're saving for buying a home, you're saving for relocation, the changes removes that flexibility. So your ISA to pension balance now matters more than ever. The updated ISA chapter in the MoneyWise Doctor book actually explains exactly how to structure the new 20,000 split depending on what stage you are. Number 5, well, there are other changes. There's electric vehicle tax rising in 2028. So electric vehicles now have to pay 3p per mile and hybrids have to pay 1.5p per mile. I wonder how they're going to monitor that. Maybe when you go for your MOT, I don't know. But yeah, you have to pay now. There are a few other changes to business owners selling their business, but there have not been a lot of other changes around NHS pension, stamp duty tax, lifetime allowance is still scrapped, which is great. Now, the big question is, what should you do now? So I've come up with what I call the MoneyWise Doctor checklist. What you can do now before the new tax year. 1, recalculate your adjusted net income. The 60% tax trap is harder to avoid now. 2, review your pension strategy. Since salary sacrifice is adjusting, if you're in a private pension, think about your best options for now. Number 3, I'll say review your ISA strategy because cash ISA flexibility is shrinking. A more structured plan is really essential. And number 4, if you run a limited company, think about adjusting your dividend planning because your tax bill will rise in 2026. And number 5, build a structured, tax-efficient investing plan now is more important now more than ever. So, with the fiscal drag and every change in the budget, I've updated all this in the MoneyWise Doctor book, and you'll be able to get it as well. All right, so where does this leave us? That's the big question. Salary sacrifice capped, but NHS pension is untouched. Tax thresholds are frozen. Dividend and property taxes rising. Cash ISA flexibility cut. Electric vehicle owners, landlords, and business owners paying more. It's a lot. But here's the truth. Budget changes can affect you. They can hurt you, but only if you stay passive. Your power is in your plan. So next week, the MoneyWise Doctor book goes live. The launch edition includes all updated budget rules, plus bonus including things like tax hack pack, checklist, and investing guides. So if you want a smarter, tax-efficient strategy for 2026 and beyond, use the link in the description or pinned comment to pre-order your copy and secure all the bonuses. And let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to know which of these budget changes affect you. Which one would you like me to do a separate deep dive on the video as well to help you understand it more? Which of the budget changes hit you harder, and which one would you like me to do a separate deep dive to go into details to address it? Well, I hope that helps you, and of course check me out on www.moneywisedoctor.com/book to get the pre-order page for the MoneyWise Doctor. All right then, cheers. Bye-bye.
The financial playbook everyone has been waiting for is coming. The MoneyWise Doctor book. Click on the link to pre-order your copy, plus free bonuses.